Hello, my name is Tina Jackson. I'm a member of your Commercial Advisory Council, and I'm also chair of the Chapter Commercial Advisory Subcommittee. We've reached out to a number of board members across the country this past year and asked the questions, what is working and how can we help? Derek Dugas has graciously offered to put together a video series where we've interviewed a number of different chapter officers, and I'm pleased to introduce to you the second in this series that includes board members from the Atlantic chapter. Listen and enjoy.
I would say first and foremost, I see my role as a liaison between the other commercial members of the chapter or commercial folks that are not necessarily members but want to participate in chapter activities like our annual conference, and allowing them to have a conduit, if you will, into the chapter, and not just into the chapter from an event perspective, but into the chapter from the perspective of how the chapter is run and the decisions that get made, as Mike and Tammy pointed out earlier, to ensure that decisions get made that I would say encourage more commercial participation and have the commercial members feel like they're part of the chapter.
Commercial partners are extremely important to us, and especially CCAM, for whether it's conferences, whether it's making policies. We don't always know what is the correct thing in industry or what is needed, and this is how we are educated to bring it to our chapters. CCAM is the perfect liaison between, sharing all the information of a commercial side and sharing the information of our chapter member side.
To have a vendor voice and commercial members' voice among the chapter, obviously regular dispatchers or other professions that have to do with the public have one set of needs. The vendors have another. I mean, there's sometimes they intersect, but sometimes they're different. So it's good to have a perspective from both sides, both as a vendor person and as a practitioner person.
I would encourage all of the chapters that have not made a decision through either their constitution, bylaws, or policy manual, or their governing structure, to make the decision to move forward and have CCAM be a voting member of their chapter board. I think that's the strongest thing that I could urge any of the other chapters to do. And I know that most folks that are government employees, of which I was one, running a PSAP myself for many years before I went to the private sector, I was concerned about the relationship with any one particular commercial company or supplier or even consulting group, because you have to be able to be independent and make procurement decisions that are not, unethical, if you will. But having a single vote on a board of many does not constitute, in my opinion, any breach of any ethical violation, or does not give any particular person or company any advantage in that point to make a decision. I'm just one vote on the Atlantic chapter's board. I don't know that I've ever been a pivotal vote in terms of breaking a tie, if you will, but I do believe, and I would certainly look to Mike or Tammy to quantify this, but I do believe that I've helped the board make good decisions and come to the point where a good vote could be taken based on all the facts and things that they might not have considered, as both Mike and Tammy have mentioned earlier, that would affect our commercial members. And in the end, the goal, should be to have commercial members feel that they are an equal part and an equal member of the organization. And the only way that's going to happen, quite honestly, is that they have to see that they're treated as equally as possible without, like I said, violating anything that's unethical or giving anyone an unfair business advantage or access to information that another company may or may not have. But I think everybody in public safety, that's not on the commercial side, I think is very in tune to that. And I don't think that gets to happen. And they should be trying to choose a CCAM who also shares with that ideal and is not there to be self-serving or for the benefit of themselves or the company that they represent, but is there to represent the betterment of the chapter of APCO and APCO International as a whole.
Mike has always contributed to the conversation. He's given his point of view on how he thinks and everything else. And like he mentioned, he does have both PSAP experience and now a commercial side. So he has an understanding of how both need to be working together for the betterment. So I would, again, encourage anybody who doesn't have a voting member, CCAM member on their board to look hard and to consider it, because their voice is important. And obviously making the vendors feel like they are listened to, they are heard, and they mean what they say, what they has a meaning to about you. Like we can learn from Mike, because like I said, he has that experience, and he talks to us, he tells us how he feels, and you know how he's going to vote, because that he tells us. So we all appreciate Mike's input on stuff. And I think, it's a benefit that we have someone who is as active as Mike is.
Having our commercial partners is extremely important to be at our conference. Not only do we get to, outside of the normal interactions, right? So normally they're coming to a PSAP, we're purchasing software or fixing something, or we're looking for something. When they're at these conferences, it's outside of that normal work activity, and we get to build relationships. By building relationships, we become more comfortable in learning about what is, like Mr. Mangini said, what is coming for the future. We also feel more comfortable and get to voice our opinions of what, hey, this would be great if it could do this. And maybe we can also provide information on what the future could have, or what the future could look like, or where can we go from here. We want to get to this point and this would be so much easier. Is there any way that this could happen? Or we're using this software, but we don't really know. Are we using all of it correctly? Are we doing this? We just, by building relationships, you feel more comfortable with people. And I think we have that partnership builds, and it becomes a community of public safety, not commercial side and membership side. It becomes a whole community of public safety that's working together and working towards that future of, let's drive this future together, and what the software is, what we need, what you can offer. I think that relationship building is very important.
Is important because not everybody can go to a national conference. So again, having those vendors come to our local, conferences, it gets the people who can't normally see what's on the horizon. They can come and see it and talk to the vendors about what they think they should do. So, and again, it's a little more intimate because, going to a national conference, you got, 5,000 people. Go to a local one. Like I said, normally at our conferences, we have about 300 people that attend 3 days. So again, it gives you a little bit more opportunity for one-on-one conversation with the commercial vendors. So again, having a good working relationship and building those relationships, like Tammy said, it's paramount for this.
In 2020, most everybody was canceling their conferences. We had to cancel our conference as well. Having been to conferences already and build such a great relationship with our commercial partners, and explaining to them that we were canceling our conference, we had come up with an idea that maybe this year we can give everybody some type of award, some type of appreciation, something, just to let them know we're standing with you, we are here for you. And that was mentioned to a few people that are on our commercial side. And because of that relationship building that has already happened, our Atlantic chapter is fortunate where we are already a large community together. They jumped right in and said, we do stand with you. We are already your partner. We stand by your side. Let us help you. And they helped us without several of our commercial partners who I literally didn't have to search hard. They found out about it and jumped in right away and helped us afford and get all of the necessary items we needed to award every single member of our chapter an appreciation award. It was a challenge coin, because it was such a challenging year. And without that partnership and that relationship, one, they would have never known what we were going through, but because we have that relationship, they do know exactly what we were going through. And the ability they had, which we did not as a chapter, to help us get that word out to everybody that we stand together and we stand stronger together.
I just want to say, I know currently we're working on revising our like a guide to doing our conferences, and we're involving Mike Mangini with the process because he has years of experience as being both a vendor, and he's been our commercial advisory person for quite a few years, at least 5 or 6 years now, probably more than that. So again, we're including them so that they have a voice on how we do the conferences, because they are the vendors. The interaction between vendors and other public safety professionals is paramount to us having a successful conference. So we want to take their input. Mike has provided lots of input as we're doing this project. So it's something we're taking from them, and we're going to make it work for everybody. So again, working together to make sure everybody benefits.
This document is going to be an official document of our chapter going forward for throughout the future. And we need the expert of the commercial side. We need our CCAM's expertise to know exactly what we have to have for the exhibit hall, right? So in our conference, we have exhibitors, and we need all of that. We need to know what size the booths need to be, what they need for setup, what they need. So now somebody who's running a PSAP may not have any of that information of what's needed just for them to be there and for them to productively be able to work there and show at the exhibit hall. We wouldn't know any of that if it wasn't for him. Things like that, that's where we need the liaison and the expertise.